The subconscious mind is not a mysterious force with supernatural powers. It is a natural and essential part of the human brain that works constantly, whether we are aware of it or not. It manages the vast majority of our thoughts, feelings, and actions without needing conscious attention. This means that while we like to believe that we make all our decisions through deliberate reasoning, most of our daily choices are shaped by processes happening beneath conscious awareness. The subconscious can be understood as the part of the mind responsible for storing and managing all the information, habits, and emotional patterns that do not require constant conscious thinking. It acts like a massive storage system and an automated control center at the same time. Your ability to tie your shoelaces without thinking about the sequence of movements, your tendency to feel nervous before a presentation, and your preference for certain foods are all influenced by it. It is active every moment of your life, guiding actions, interpreting events, and influencing emotional states. One of the most obvious roles of the subconscious is automation. When you learn a new skill, the conscious mind is heavily involved at first. Consider learning to type. In the beginning, every letter requires deliberate focus. Over time, through repetition, the subconscious takes over, allowing you to type sentences while thinking about something else. The same process occurs in countless activities: walking, driving, cooking familiar meals, or using a tool you have mastered. This automation is beneficial because it frees the conscious mind for problem-solving and new learning. However, it also means that once a habit is formed, whether helpful or harmful, it operates with little conscious control. The subconscious is also a vast storehouse of memory. Unlike the conscious mind, which can hold only a few pieces of information at once, the subconscious retains a lifetime of experiences. Not all of these memories are accessible on demand, but they still influence our perceptions and reactions. For example, a person who nearly drowned as a child may feel uneasy around deep water decades later, even if they do not consciously remember the event. This is because the subconscious has preserved the emotional association between water and danger. Much of our emotional life is guided by subconscious processes. While the conscious mind can analyze and interpret events, emotional responses often arise automatically. If someone feels anxious when meeting strangers, the cause may lie in early life experiences or repeated situations that created a mental link between unfamiliar people and discomfort. The subconscious does not ask whether the reaction is logical. It simply follows established patterns. This is why a person might react with fear, anger, or sadness even when they cannot explain the reason. Beliefs and self-image are also deeply rooted in the subconscious. From the earliest years, we absorb messages from parents, teachers, peers, and media. If a child is consistently encouraged and told they are capable, the subconscious builds a foundation of confidence. If they are repeatedly criticized or made to feel inadequate, the subconscious may form a belief in their own unworthiness. These beliefs act as mental filters through which experiences are interpreted. Two people can face the same situation, a failed exam for instance, but one sees it as a temporary challenge while the other sees it as proof of personal failure, largely because of differences in subconscious beliefs. Repetition plays a central role in how the subconscious learns. Just as repeated physical practice improves athletic skills, repeated thoughts and behaviors strengthen certain mental pathways. If you constantly dwell on mistakes, your mind becomes more likely to notice and focus on failures. Conversely, if you deliberately practice gratitude by regularly reflecting on what is going well, your subconscious begins to notice more positive aspects of life. This is not about ignoring reality, but about shaping the mental patterns that influence perception and behavior. Another important feature of the subconscious is that it does not clearly distinguish between real experiences and vividly imagined ones. Mental rehearsal can activate many of the same neural circuits as physical practice. Athletes often use visualization to prepare for competition, mentally rehearsing each movement in detail. The subconscious treats this as genuine practice, strengthening the associated skills and confidence. The same principle applies to public speaking, learning a musical instrument, or preparing for a challenging conversation. Dreams provide another window into subconscious activity. While not all dreams have deep meaning, they often draw on stored memories, emotional concerns, and unresolved issues. A recurring dream might reflect an ongoing worry or an unprocessed event. Though interpreting dreams is not always straightforward, they demonstrate that the subconscious continues processing experiences long after the conscious mind has moved on. The relationship between the conscious and subconscious can be compared to an iceberg. The visible tip represents conscious awareness, while the vast mass below the surface represents the subconscious. The conscious mind is slow, deliberate, and analytical, but limited in capacity. The subconscious is fast, efficient, and capable of managing enormous amounts of information, but it relies on established patterns rather than constant reevaluation. Most of the time, the two parts of the mind work together, but conflicts can occur when conscious goals and subconscious patterns do not align. For example, someone may consciously want to adopt a healthier lifestyle but find themselves repeatedly eating junk food. The issue may be that the subconscious has linked such foods with comfort or reward from years of repetition. Without addressing this association, willpower alone may not be enough to change the behavior. Real change often requires reprogramming the subconscious by creating new patterns and associations, finding other sources of comfort or reward that align with the conscious goal. Change in the subconscious is possible, but requires consistency and patience. Because it learns through repetition, occasional efforts are less effective than small, regular actions. A person who fears social interaction might start by engaging in brief, low-pressure conversations, gradually increasing their exposure until the subconscious no longer signals danger. Similarly, replacing self-critical thoughts with constructive ones can, over time, shift a person's self-image. The key is persistence. Just as harmful patterns were built over time, helpful ones require time to take root. In everyday life, the subconscious affects decisions more than we might realize. The friends we choose, the risks we take, the opportunities we notice or ignore, all are shaped by subconscious filters. This does not mean we are powerless. It means we must be aware of the underlying influences if we want to make deliberate choices. Awareness is the first step in aligning subconscious patterns with conscious values. The power of the subconscious lies not in overriding our will, but in shaping the environment in which conscious decisions are made. If the subconscious holds beliefs that support our goals, progress feels natural. If it holds beliefs that conflict with them, progress feels like an uphill battle. By deliberately feeding the subconscious with constructive experiences, repeated positive actions, and intentional thought patterns, we can reshape it to work in our favor. The practical takeaway is that we should pay attention to what we repeatedly think, say, and do. The subconscious is always learning, always recording, and always influencing. Whether we are aware of it or not, we are programming it every day. The question is whether we are doing so intentionally or by accident. Ultimately, the subconscious mind is not an enemy to control or a mysterious power to unlock. It is a partner in everything we do, capable of supporting our growth when we understand how it works. The more we align our conscious actions with the patterns we want our subconscious to adopt, the more those patterns will guide our behavior effortlessly. In this way, the subconscious becomes not just a storehouse of past experiences, but a tool for creating a future that reflects our chosen values and goals. Here's the ending with an extra reflective section. Calm, logical, and reinforcing the main message with a few golden words that leave the listener thinking long after the video ends. This means that every thought, every choice, and every habit is a small deposit into the future you are creating. Change is rarely about one dramatic decision. It is about hundreds of quiet, consistent decisions made over time. The subconscious is shaped not by what we say once, but by what we repeat until it becomes second nature. If you want to influence the direction of your life, start by influencing the direction of your thoughts. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you care about. Surround yourself with information, people, and experiences that reinforce the person you want to become. And remember that patience is not a weakness. It is the price of lasting change. In the end, the power of the subconscious is not about controlling the mind. It is about guiding it. It is not about forcing change, but about teaching the mind, through repetition and example, what to accept as normal. What you make normal in your mind will eventually become normal in your life.